Well, there's crying involved. I'm not gonna lie.
Thanks. Well, first of all, guys, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, this movie is gorgeous.
Oh,
It's so beautiful. So great job. The first thing I want to ask you though is about the inspiration behind this story because it's so moving and so touching. And as someone whose kids are super artistic, like I really related and saw my kids in them so much.
oh, thanks so much. I also have two. Well, I have two daughters, and for us, it's very important to tell the younger audiences that their voices can be heard, that art is worth pursuing, and that expression is a basic instinct of human beings. I think they need that lesson more importantly than we needed it because of the times that we are living. So, for example, at the end credits, we have this making of shots because we want kids to feel like, oh, I can build my puppet. Oh, I can write my story. Oh, I can do a wardrobe and work with my hands. So we really try to convey that message to the audience.
I was going to ask about the credits. It's so beautiful. I love that idea of putting in the create. I found myself really watching every single frame of you guys making the film. It's crazy to see.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was very cool. So can you talk about the inspiration behind the story? Because I really love how it is like a love letter to our artisticness.
Yeah, the reality is that when we were writing the script, we were facing some of the challenges that Frankelda has on the film. We were in a moment in our lives when a lot of producers in Mexico told us that we should not be trying to do our films because it was impossible that we could achieve it, and that maybe we could help them to do their own stuff, and later on we could do our own, and not only by producers but also it was impossible to get all the national funds because nobody believed that a stop motion feature film could be achieved in Mexico. And also it was really difficult to have distribution in Mexico because they said that nobody wanted to watch this film because it was weird and it made the public to think, and the public doesn't want to think when they go to films. So all that anger, all that frustration that we had, we use it as fuel in order to write the story of Frankelda. And to do this film was like therapy for us. It was a way in which we could canalize this bad energy into something positive. And we wanted to, even though that we love this idea of fiction and reality that is a theme throughout the film, even though it's a fiction that Frankelda goes into her own imagination, what we want to tell to all the young audiences, in general to all the audience, is the reality that if they pursue their own dreams, their art, their artistic drives, and their vision, it's not going to be easy. But it doesn't matter. You have to do it because if you hear the call of the muses, you don't have any other way than to go forward and achieve what your soul is asking you to do.
Yeah. And now, I can't believe they told you not to make it. Now it's going to be a Netflix movie. Come on. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, right? Come true. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like working with Netflix?
Oh, we're so thankful with them. It has been an amazing experience. They really help um, finish the film because the film isn't finished until the audience watches it. So they are the best partners that we could ever hope to have. And the way in which they have been working with the film
working on the English dubbing, on the way of the message that it's being transmitted, it is just amazing. We were so exhausted making this film, but Netflix has become like a fresh air that is giving us an extra life.
I love it. I got to talk about Guillermo del Toro too, because he's so amazing. What is it like working with him and like really getting to pick his brain with these sorts of things like stop motion?
I think that working with Guillermo is the best experience in my life, or one of the most. It's more like if we were kind of, it's like Jedi training, in which he's our tutor, our mentor, and we are his padawans. And he only shows us the way, but we have to do everything by ourselves. He doesn't help us like by the hand, because he wants us to learn, because this craft and this profession is really difficult, and there are a lot of deceptions, and there are a lot of obstacles, and you need to train in order to defend your ideas, but also to talk to executives, distributors. And he's such a great human being, and we have learned from him a lot of filmmaking, but especially that what makes him great is his heart and how he helps the others. And now we have the mission also to help other people to achieve their dreams. So it's a dream for us
Oh,
to
I
work.
love that. Oh, that's so great. I got to talk about the character design here because every single character in this movie looks amazing. I personally I hate spiders. I hate spiders. So I was like, why? But he still looks so cool. And can you talk about like really finding the design for these specific, especially the main few characters?
We wanted to have characters that were different to what we have already seen in on screen or for kids. They have a mixture of a lot of texture and different fabrics and different materials, but at the same time, their faces are cartoonish, which brings a nice balance. We wanted to create characters that people wanted to see more of, and there's a charm in them. There's, even though they are very sophisticated, there's also a simplicity in them. And we wanted to do our own version of monsters that were very artistic, very passionate. They sing, they say what they are thinking, they feel, they fell in love. So that's what we wanted to bring to this to the screen.
Yeah, and they're not too scary, right? Like I said, I hate spiders. I was like, why is this guy a spider? I don't like it. But he's really cool character and he's not too scary for younger kids. I think he's like the right amount. So can you talk about balancing that and making sure it wasn't going to terrify little kids?
Yeah, I think that you nailed it, because there's a balance in each character. The characters are designed to be more cartoonish. If you just uh, if you just watch the silhouettes or the faces of the characters, and they're really kind, or at least they are like with a lot of personality. But in the details, for example, in Procustis, we tried to make his legs as grotesque as we could, with hairs that were handpicked and a lot of details on the skin. So I think that there's a shock in the design, because if you watch his face, he's like a really good character and kind of fun. But if you look all the details, there's like a grotesque element. So each character is balanced in these two ways: the texture versus the silhouette and the features of the faces.
Yeah, yeah, he's so cool. How many like puppets did you need for each character? Because obviously you need to have different pieces and
most of the characters only had one puppet, except Frankelda. Frankelda had 6 versions, Hermeval 3, Procustis 3, and I think the rest of them there was only one, with probably a couple of exceptions. So overall, I think we built 200 puppets.
Yeah, but there's a variation. Is that there are 3 different scales for the characters. This one is the hero versions that are more like the Barbie, the Barbie scale. We had also the mini versions that are just like this. And we have also the micro versions that are a lot smaller, and they were used for the open shots in which wanted to show more of the world. So that also makes that almost all of the characters have copies on these scales in order to achieve all the world building that we wanted to do.
Yeah, and then I saw in the credits you had to have like bottom half, to change their expressions and stuff.
Yeah, that's something that makes them cartoonish, because by replacing the faces, you get a lot of expression and big mouths, small mouths, different variations of the eyebrows. So that brings in a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're so cool. What was your reaction when you first got to see these main characters, the puppets, like done and complete, and you got to hold them yourselves?
Oh, that feeling is beautiful.
Yeah, that's the best one.
Because it's so difficult to achieve one puppet, and that moment in which you approve, okay, this puppet is finished, is magical. But it's more magical when the animators animate them for first time, because we have been sculpting mouths and just watching them without moving. But suddenly, when they have voice, personality, and acting, that's when you say, wow, this character is going to work and it's alive.
Yeah. And then what was your reaction seeing the finished movie, getting to see it all completely done after years and years?
Well, there's crying involved, I'm not gonna lie. Some people, like my brother Roy, enjoy watching it almost daily. Some people prefer to watch the corner of the screen in order to avoid watching the whole picture, but it's definitely impacting.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's beautiful. And then real quick, so far on Rotten Tomatoes, every single review is fresh. Everyone loves it. What does that mean to you guys after all your hard work?
Well, I think that, I don't know. I think that's it's a privilege to be able to show this film to critics, to an audience. We are a little bit nervous to see what the whole world thinks about it, but it's magical, and there's a process in which you have just to say, I did what I was able to do, and now go out and do your stuff.
I don't think you need to be nervous. I think it's so beautiful. It's so well done. Like just watching it is gorgeous, and then the story is so good as well. So congratulations, guys, and thank you so much for your time today.